Hi, it's David here from Freedom Founders. When was the last time that you stress test your models? What are you thinking? What do you mean, David, stress test my models? What models? So let's break it down. How about your personal life models, your business or practice model, and your investment models? Well, let's break it down even further. What do I mean by that? Look, we live in a time where there's a lot of volatility in our economic cycles. We've been in a long bull run cycle since about the year of 2012, after we had the 2008 downturn, recession, reset, whatever you want to call it, where everything plunged for several years, kind of hit the bottom around 2010, 2011, and since about 2012, everything's been back on an upward cycle. Lots of reasons for that. Won't go into that. Let's just call it what it is. We have cycles, and I think those cycles will be more frequent and deeper, both on the high side and the low side going forward. Probably more on the low side, but again, that's for us to stress test. So look at your personal life. Stress test it. What do I mean by that? How much margin do you have in your personal budget, your lifestyle overhead, your run rate, whatever you want to call it? What does that look like? And are you close to maxing that out with maybe debt repayments, school loan payments, maybe practice debt, maybe consumption debt? Look, I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, what do you have there that you can put a stress test on? So what if you had a decrease in your after expenses, after tax, lifestyle capital that you put in your hands? What do you put in your hands? What do you have left to run on after you've paid all your bills, expenses? Do you have margin there? Do you have excess that right now maybe you're putting into savings, or you're putting into investments, or you're putting into your business? What do you have there? What's your margin? What's your capacity? Could you take a decrease of 10% in your current lifestyle burn rate and be okay? What about 15%? What about 20%? How far down the line can you go before you hit a point where it's like, nope, couldn't do any more. We couldn't squeeze any more out. We'd be done. It's important to know where you stand there. Now, how about your business or your practice? Same thing. When we have a downturn in the marketplace, it doesn't just affect us personally, but it affects our customers, our clients, our patients. How are they affected? Again, what would happen if your practice revenues, top line revenues, were decreased by 10, 15, 20, 25%? What would that look like to you? How does that change your profit margins? And more importantly, how would that change your cash flow? Those are all interrelated, but they're not exactly one-to-one linear relationships. You need some projections. Get with your CPA, get with somebody who's good with finances, and look at those numbers and see how much of a decrease you could take in your business revenues before you would have some serious problems. What about your investments? Now, some of you may not be that far along in your investments. Maybe you're just disciplined and you're saving right now. That's okay. That's all right. But some of you that are further along in your investments, you're looking more at your investments as replacing your active income sooner than later. Very important you stress test your investments. Same thing. Where are you in the market cycle? What kind of investments do you have? Are they debt leveraged? What kind of downside risk protection do you have? Again, if your investments dropped in value and or cash flow, depending upon where they are, traditional markets, alternative investments, if they drop by 10%, 15, 20, 25%, what does that look like to you? Can you weather the storm? What provisions have you made to back up? What's your plan B provisions? The key thing to getting through an economic downturn is to have enough margin in these different areas of life, in the personal side, in the business or practice side, and in the investment side, particularly in the investment side, if you're depending upon a large amount of that investment to provide actual cash flow to live on today. So how does it look for you? What provisions can you make? What plan B can you make in each of those categories to survive? Because if you can get through a downturn and come out on the other side, where a lot of people won't be able to, where a lot of people will be forced to sell assets, investments, businesses, houses, homes, cars, name it, boats, second homes. A lot of people are forced to sell those things at fire sale prices because they need liquidity. Do you have enough margin in your models, personal, business, investments, to get through the gap? And that gap's going to be at least 18 months typically. Could be even a little bit longer. Can you weather the storm? What have you put into place for that plan B? That's my question for you today. Stress test your models, personal, business, investments, and see where you stand. It'll do you a lot of good to do it now. Remember, always stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.